Hey everyone, it's Jensen again here for more ramblings. This past weekend, not so good. Not so good. USC gets blown out by UCLA, giving up the most points ever. And it was not good. Not good. I think we can clearly say, at least now, that this is the worst USC football team in my lifetime. There's been a few other bad ones. Clay Helton had a 4-win season way back in '91. I think they had 3 wins. The 2000 team was historically bad. I think they had 4 wins and finished last in the Pac-10. But this, oh man, this is bad. See, the difference between those other teams that USC had that were bad and this one is whatever it is, there isn't. I don't want to say that they don't have that fight on spirit that they keep on playing and give up, but on defense, it's like they don't even know what they're doing. They don't know how to play football. It's quite embarrassing. I mean, when you get 2 interceptions on the first 2 pass plays for UCLA, and then DTR goes off and has a career day against you, not good. And then there was one point where USC started to crawl back into it, got it down to 9, and then give up a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Not good. Jackson Dart looked okay. He looked like a freshman. I hate losing to UCLA. I cannot stand them. It is the worst. So not good. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to be said about it other than this is the worst USC football team. Yeah. So what Pete Arbogast, voice of the USC Trojans, said, at least as I was listening to his play-by-play, was if you are going to lose to your rival, it's better to do it when you're awful. And USC fits that to the T. They have to win out to go to a bowl game, and I would be surprised if they win a game against BYU or Cal. I would be surprised if either game is even remotely close. But we'll talk about that later, next video. Other big games around the country. Ohio State just destroyed Michigan State. That was, like I said, sign that contract, that 10-year extension, Michigan State head coach, before the game, because, oh man, they were in different leagues. And unfortunately, Ohio State looks amazing. They didn't look good earlier in the year. They look good now. Although that Michigan State secondary is awful. Then the other one is Utah just destroying Oregon, just obliterating them. So bye-bye Pac-12. You're not in the playoffs once again. But the funny thing is, and I'm really hoping that Oregon State or Washington State ends up getting to the Pac-12 championship game. It's just ridiculous, which they can. They definitely can. Anyways, those were the big stories. I guess other things. I mean, they're trying to put up Heisman stuff. They've got the Ohio State quarterback, Bryce Young from Alabama. This has got to be the most boring Heisman race ever. No one if I could, I'd just give the Heisman Trophy to the entire Georgia defense, but that can't be done. But no one else deserves it. I don't. Ohio State's quarterback, he just shouldn't. He's not a Heisman Trophy winner. Bryce Young, he's been more consistent throughout the season. I'd probably lean on him. There's the Pitt quarterback too. He's put up some decent numbers. There's just hasn't been anyone though. Anyways, I used to just love the Heisman Trophy and those players, and it doesn't seem nearly as exciting as it used to. And maybe that's just because we've got a down year or something. I don't know. But even last year, the Alabama wide receiver, I don't know. I don't know. It's not as entertaining, I don't think, as it once was for some reason. Anyways, top teams, the College Football Playoff Committee, they put theirs out. They moved Ohio State up above Alabama, which I agree with. I disagree with some of their other stuff. So here's my one. Number 1, Georgia, still. Number 2, Cincinnati. They're number 4 in the college football playoff rankings right now. And if they win out, they'll be in. So good for Cincinnati. Number 3, I have UTSA. They won by a last-second touchdown against UAB. They scraped by, but they got the win. Number 4, I've got Ohio State moving ahead of Alabama. Ohio State's played a tougher schedule than Alabama has. Alabama plays in the SEC and hasn't really played. Ole Miss is their best win, and take that for what it's worth. Number 5, I have Alabama. I still might think Alabama may be better than Ohio State, but Ohio State is looking really good, so I don't know. Number 6, I have Michigan. Number 7, I've got Oklahoma State. Number 8, I have Oklahoma. People are really down on Oklahoma, especially in the playoff. Now, they haven't played the toughest schedule, but they're still a good team. They're not like great, but anyways, they've got them ranked below Notre Dame, which I have as 9, and Notre Dame is not a good team. Notre Dame's an improving team, but not a good team. Number 10, Baylor. In fact, I think, other than UTSA, I think I would put everyone in the top 15, 16 to win against Notre Dame. Anyways, Notre Dame has only got the one loss, so they deserve to be ranked pretty high. But number 9, Notre Dame. Number 10, Baylor. I think Baylor's looking good. Number 11, I have Ole Miss. They're doing all right too. Number 12, I've got BYU. They weren't terribly impressive against Georgia Southern, but some of their wins look pretty good. That win against Utah looks pretty good. Number 13, I've got Oregon. Number 14, I've got Michigan State. 15, I've got Pitt. And my lights just went out. Oh, well. And number 15, I had Pitt. And number 16, I'm throwing Utah in there. They have looked pretty darn impressive recently. I thought they were garbage in the beginning of the season, and they may have been. They're not now. They are good. They're good. So anyways, that's my top 16 that I threw in there. What some other stuff that's happening, other depressing stuff over the weekend. Manchester United got destroyed in their soccer game, and Ole Solskjaer is fired. Although I do like how he did it. He was very classy through the entire thing. He still is grateful for the club. He understood that the results weren't there. And so he still has nothing but positive things. I mean, he's still a Manchester United legend. So good for him for taking the high road, still being happy. I mean, he's a great guy, but yeah, the results weren't there. And so, so then today they won against Villarreal. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, scores another Champions League goal, and Sancho got his, or Sancho, however you say his name, he got his first goal of the season for Manchester United. So that's good. They were going to win the group, move on to the knockout stage. That is extremely good. So, good for them. Although their search for a new manager, that's going to be something. They've got Michael Carrick in there, who's taking over until they can find an interim manager who can take over the season until they find the real manager. Now, having said that, I think there's some wisdom in this, and it goes with the USC thing again too. Get the right guy, and if it takes a little bit longer, it doesn't matter. Don't fall in love with your interim guy. That is what I'm learning now. Ed Orgeron he wouldn't have been the fit the first time, even though it would have been a fun hire. I mean, they hired the wrong guy in Steve Sarkisian, but then Clay Helton wasn't the right guy. I don't think if you're needing to fire your coach in the middle of the season, you probably don't want to go with the interim manager or head coach. You need to find the guy that everyone wants. So that's the wisdom of head coaching searches. And Florida's out now, so the pool of coaches is dwindling. Oh, other big news of the day, Penn State extended Franklin, thankfully. I mean, he would have been a step up from Clay Helton, but he's not the head coach we were looking for at USC. Not at all. Yeah, not at all. Other sports news in hockey, it's moving right along. Connor McDavid gave another ridiculous goal. He just skated through the entire team and scored. The Ducks' winning streak is over, and Troy Terry's point streak is over. They've lost 2 in a row now, so that's unfortunate, but they're still playing great hockey, even in the 2 losses. They're still playing up-tempo, exciting. It's good stuff. And they could have won both of those games. So they're actually doing pretty darn good. So good for them. The college basketball is moving on. We're going to have the big game between Gonzaga and UCLA, that rematch from the tournament last year. So that should be fun. USC destroyed Dixie State last night. That's not a big surprise. They look decent. They look decent. I'm concerned about their rebounding. They seem to give away several too easy, without Evan Mobley in there, but whatever. The season is still new, and they're very deep. They've got a lot of people on their team. So college basketball, yay. And they're in the top 25. Other team, BYU's still looking good. The Pac-12 actually is looking pretty darn good for basketball this year. They've got UCLA, USC, Oregon laid an egg against BYU, but they still should be pretty good, decent. Then Arizona is looking good. Washington State is looking good. Colorado, I think, was still looking good. So it's going to be a tough road there. What else is there going on? I don't know. It's Thanksgiving. We're going to have a turkey bowl this year, so I'm very excited to go play some football, which I couldn't do last year, which was one of the worst things ever. So anyways, have a good, happy Thanksgiving. We'll preview the USC game against BYU coming up here soon, and have it so good.